My sister brought her fiancé to Thanksgiving, and my grandmother dropped her fork when she saw his face. The metal hitting the plate sounded like a gunshot in the silent dining room. Everyone turned to look at Grandma Ruth, who had gone completely white. Her hands were shaking so badly that my mom reached over to steady her. My sister Vanessa stood in the doorway with her arm looped through her fiancé's, both of them smiling like they'd just walked into a surprise party. "This is Kyle," Vanessa said, beaming, "the one I've been telling you all about." But Grandma wasn't looking at Vanessa. She was staring at Kyle like she'd just seen a corpse stand up and walk. Nobody moved. Kyle shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. "Is everything okay?" he asked. Grandma's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then she whispered a name I'd never heard before. "Daniel." "No, Grandma. This is Kyle. Kyle Whitmore. We've been dating for 2 years." Grandma shook her head slowly, still trembling. The resemblance. She couldn't finish. My grandfather stood up from the head of the table, his face suddenly hard in a way I'd never seen. "Ruth, that's enough. Let's eat." But Grandma couldn't stop staring. My mom tried to smooth things over, pulling out chairs, pouring wine, asking Kyle about his job. He was an architect, designed sustainable housing. Very impressive, very safe conversation. But I watched Grandma through the whole meal. She barely touched her food. Her eyes kept drifting back to Kyle's face like she was looking for something specific. A scar, a birthmark, some proof that he wasn't whoever Daniel was. After dessert, she excused herself to the bathroom and didn't come back for 20 minutes. I found her in my parents' bedroom, sitting on the edge of the mattress holding an old photograph. She didn't hear me come in. "Grandma?" She looked up with tears streaming down her cheeks. I sat beside her. She handed me the photo without a word. It was black and white, creased down the middle like it had been folded and unfolded 1,000 times. A young man in a military uniform smiled at the camera. He had Kyle's exact face. Same jawline, same dimples, same slightly crooked nose. I felt the hair rise on my arms. "Who is this?" "Daniel was my first love." She said it so quietly I almost missed it. "We were engaged in 1959. He shipped out to Vietnam 3 weeks before our wedding and never came home." I didn't know what to say. She'd been married to my grandfather for 58 years. I never knew there was anyone before him. "I looked at him every day for a decade," she said. "I memorized every line of his face, prayed every night that he'd come home. When they told me he was killed, I didn't believe it for years." The next morning, Vanessa confronted Grandma in the kitchen. "Kyle told me what you said last night. You called him by another man's name. Do you know how uncomfortable that made him?" Grandma apologized, said it wouldn't happen again, but Vanessa wasn't satisfied. "Who's Daniel?" Grandma didn't answer. I was listening from the hallway, heart pounding. "Grandma, who is Daniel?" "He was no one, just someone I knew a long time ago." But I could see Vanessa doing the math in her head. She pulled out her phone and started searching. "Daniel, Vietnam, 1959, our hometown." Within minutes, she found an obituary archive. "Daniel Whitmore," she read aloud. "Killed in action, 1960. Whitmore." She looked up at Grandma. "That's Kyle's last name." Grandma's face crumbled. The kitchen went completely silent. My mom walked in and froze when she saw both of them crying. It took 3 hours and a lot of tears to piece everything together. Daniel had a younger brother who survived him. That brother eventually had children, and those children had Kyle. My sister's fiancé was the great-nephew of the man my grandmother almost married 60 years ago. Kyle came over that afternoon, sat across from Grandma Ruth, and let her hold his face in her hands. She traced his features like she was reading Braille. "You have his smile," she said. Daniel had the most beautiful smile. Kyle's eyes were wet. My dad never talked about his uncle much, just that he was a hero. Grandma pulled out the photograph and gave it to him. "Then you should have this." They sat together for hours. Grandma told him stories about Daniel that his own family had never known. The way he laughed, the songs he sang, the letter he wrote her the night before he died that she still kept in her nightstand. Vanessa and Kyle got married the following spring. Grandma Ruth sat in the front row, wearing the locket Daniel gave her in 1959.